tells me my hair, I don't give a damn.
You're gonna need a bigger boat. He's looking at you, kid.
Guillermo del Toro's grandiose robot-on-monster opus was probably among the finest and most impressive pieces of garbage I've ever seen. To get the obvious statement out of the way, the visual effects were simply mind-blowing. The mere scale of such a feat is as colossal as the machines and the monsters themselves. In between every spectacular action sequence was a spectacularly gruesome scene in which the actors spoke dialogue. It was pathetic. The characters were as flat, as unrelatable, and as disinteresting as any I've ever seen, and I've seen the first Thor movie. I'm particularly confounded as the script was helmed by the great Del Toro himself, who's always had a knack for well-told stories. And the film had such promise, too. The opening 5 minutes of the film were as enthralling, if not more so, than the remaining 130 minutes combined. The story of how the human race banded together to set aside old rivalries was so much more fascinating than what we got instead. Instead, we get the story of some rugged, dusty-haired meathead, who by the way looked so maddeningly generic that I often confused him with the other multitude of rugged, dusty-haired meatheads in the film. This guy was just as bland as they come, which sucks because he actually had a pretty interesting backstory. Celebrity robot warrior whose brother died while their brains were neurologically linked? I mean, how much more captivating can you get? Think about the multi-layered and intriguing emotions we could explore with such a concept. Instead, we literally get a 20-second bit of exposition which blandly states to the audience that this was a thing that happened, and then he struggles with it. End of scene. Ugh. And then there's the studio-mandated love interest. The two share absolutely zero chemistry, which is not helped in any way by the fact that the vast majority of their dialogue consists of Meathead shouting her name over and over again with no response. And finally, there's the curious case of Always Sunny and Dr. Strangelove. These two characters were so flippantly absurd that I'm convinced that two entirely separate crews wrote, produced, filmed, and edited the Meathead scenes from the Doctor scenes without any regard to how the two would fit together. The tone of the movie recklessly veered from action to comedy without any restraint, leaving the film to struggle with what genre it wanted to be the most. But at least the fight scenes looked really awesome.